Jason Burns knew he was different. He was the most avid reader in school. He had read just about every book in the school library. He was 10 years old and enjoyed making models. For Christmas he received 3 models to put together, his favorite being a model of the USS Missouri. He painted all the small parts and soon had it all put together. His mother ruled the roost in their family. She was the one who decided punishments and made the major decisions. She was also the village seamstress, making all the pretty dresses for the girls in the area. She often used Jason as a dress dummy to hem the dresses, first putting one of her slips over him to protect the dress. She always told him he looked cute when he had a dress on. She was always very sweet towards him when he was in a dress. One day he was rummaging around in the attic checking boxes that had been left there by the previous family that had lived there. They'd had 4 daughters. He found a box of schoolgirl dresses, took the box to his bedroom, and tried one on. It fit him very nicely. He heard his mother coming up the stairs and quickly got it off and back into the box, then slid the box under his bed. He heard her cleaning the other rooms. Then she came into his room and started to clean. He sat in a chair reading a book. He was watching her clean, hoping she didn't discover the box. She started to clean under the bed and his heart jumped. She hit the box and he watched as she pulled it from under the bed. She looked in it and then at him. "What is this? Where did you get it?" "It was in the attic. I just found it." "Have you been wearing them?" "No, I haven't." "I think you have. I want to see if they fit you. Strip down so we can try one on you." He hesitated, and she commanded him to strip down right now. He was shaking as he stripped. She took the dress he had just had on and slipped it over his head and buttoned the buttons up the back. It was a perfect fit. She had him try on the other 6 dresses in the box. They all fit. When he was in the last one, a blue one with white lace trim, she told him he could keep it on. His heart raced, thinking about wearing it. Then she told him he had to iron the rest of the dresses. He was downstairs ironing them when she said she would be right back. He watched as she walked over the Henrys' house. He knew they had 2 girls a little older than he was. He was ironing the last dress when she returned carrying a good-sized box and setting it down on the kitchen table. As he put the ironing board away, she told him she had a surprise for him. He shuddered when she took a pair of girls' panties out of the box. She unbuttoned his dress and had him take it off, then had him put on a pair of blue panties, then white tights. Then it was a training bra. He hated the feel of it. Then he was put into a cotton lace-trimmed slip and his dress was put back on him. His mother looked at him and smiled. She told him he looked cute. He was blushing as she told him that if he'd been a girl they were going to name him Janelle. She said he was Janelle from now on. It was summer vacation so he hadn't had a haircut for quite some time. She took him into the bathroom and washed his hair and put it in little pink curlers. Then she put some nasty-smelling stuff on his hair. She put a plastic cap over it and told him he had to keep it on. She told him to go outside to play for a while. He didn't want to, but she told him to go. He went on the front porch swing and hoped no one would pass by. He was lucky because no one had gone by when an hour later his mother called him in. She took the curlers out and brushed his hair, and he now saw he had a head full of curls. He was mortified at everything. His mother said now that he was going to be a little girl, he had to learn girl things. She told him he could help make supper. He peeled the potatoes and got the pots and pans out that she told him they needed. She explained everything to him. When the supper was starting to cook, she gave him a hug and told him she loved having a daughter and maybe she would keep him that way. He felt like his world had come to an end. When his father drove in, Jason went and hid. He was shocked when he heard his father call Janelle 3 times before he walked out to him. His father laughed and said he was very pretty, saying also that if he wore the dresses long enough he would get over wearing them in secret. He was completely stunned. He was sure his father would demand that he be put back in his shirts and pants. How could his father not stand up for him? At supper his father told him that was a very pretty dress. He said they would have to get him some different toys to play with. He said he knew that girls like to play with dolls and things. The next morning he was dressed in a red plaid dress that was trimmed in ruffles. His mother told him to go outside and play. He went into the backyard figuring no one would see him, did a twirl, and liked the way it felt. He was doing another twirl when he heard a voice. It was Petra, one of their next-door neighbor's daughters. She and her sister Rebecca he always thought were mean as they always said nasty things to him. She called for him to come over there. He hesitated but then decided he had been seen, so he went over there. She looked him over and laughed. He wanted to sink into the earth. You look pretty in that dress. But you can look prettier. Come with me and we can play and make you prettier. He said he didn't want to go but she grabbed and pinched his arm and he had to walk along with her. She led him into their house and into her bedroom. Rebecca had heard the commotion and came to see what was going on. She laughed when she recognized who it was. Petra said she was sure they could make him prettier. The girls' parents allowed them to wear makeup, and quickly Petra was applying lipstick to him. Then Rebecca tied a red ribbon in his hair. Then he had to sit still under threat of punishment as Rebecca did his eyelashes with an eyelash curler. Then Petra put pink eyeshadow on him. They laughed as they said his face was now a pretty girl's face. Then they put pink nail polish on his fingernails. He felt like he was going to be sick to his stomach. When they were done they both said he was now finished. Rebecca said she wanted to go swimming in their pool in the backyard. Petra asked him if he wanted to go swimming with them. He loved to swim but he had never been in their swimming pool, only being able to see the 2 girls and hear them laughing when they were in the pool. He said he didn't have a swimsuit, and Petra said she had one that didn't fit her anymore that would fit him. He said he would like to go home, but both girls insisted that he swim with them. 5 minutes later he was decked out wearing a lime green bikini top and bottom and his curls tucked in a pink swim cap. He felt stupid standing there but followed the girls out to the pool. The pool felt refreshing and quickly he forgot about what he was wearing and was tossing a beach ball with the 2 girls. They enjoyed the pool and the sunshine for a long time. Finally the girls said it was lunchtime. They went into the house and he heard Petra call his mother and tell her he was eating over there. Rebecca had made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for them to eat. The girls asked him if he had a girl's name and he told them his mother had said it was Janelle. Both girls said that name fit him better than Jason ever did. He didn't know why but he was enjoying playing with them. They had to wait before going back into the pool so Rebecca suggested they have him try on some of the dresses that were too small for them but might fit him. He didn't really want to but they insisted, so he went along with it. In Rebecca's room he tried on a dozen dresses, and 8 of them the girls said looked great on him. Then it was into Petra's room where they found 6 more plus 3 pair of shoes that fit him just right. Then it was back into the pool. He couldn't help but enjoy himself. They played for most of the afternoon. When it was time to get out of the pool they went in to change. The 2 girls laughed when they saw the outline of the bikini top on his chest. He was mortified, knowing that was going to take some time to go away. Petra said they had to redo the makeup that had washed off in the pool. This time he sat quietly as she redid him. Rebecca had him put on her old pink dress trimmed with lace that had pink ribbon bows trimming the lace. A multi-layered petticoat went under the skirt. She told him it was her church dress. He had to put on a pair of pink sandals that had a 1-inch heel. Petra told him to do some twirls like he was doing that morning in his backyard. He did and liked the way it felt. It took all three to carry the dresses and shoes back to his house. His mother was surprised at all of the clothes and remarked that now she didn't have to make him any new dresses. She said he would wear every one of them. His heart sank upon hearing that he had thought he would be out of them in a couple of days. His mother said he looked so much better with the makeup that she would get him some. Things went pretty much the same for the next 2 weeks. The first day of school was rapidly approaching and he wondered if his mother was going to send him to school in a dress. He didn't want to do that. On the Friday before school, his mother told him she had to get him some new school clothes. He said he didn't want to go along. He hoped she would be getting him boys' clothes, but he was afraid she was going to get him girls' clothes. She told him he could clean the house while she was gone. She told him to make sure he mopped the kitchen floor after sweeping it good. She said to do that first, so it would be dry before she got back. He was cleaning when she got back. He saw a lot of bags but couldn't see what was in them. His mother put the bags in her bedroom. He wondered what she had gotten for him and started to dread going back to school. The day before school was to start, his mother called him into the kitchen. He saw hair clippers there. She had him sit and she wrapped a kitchen towel around him. He was sure she was going to cut the curls off. "Have you had enough dress wearing?" "Yes." "Are you going to stop wearing them completely?" "Yes." "I am." "Good, now that you've had enough, maybe you will stay away from them. Tomorrow you can wear your boy clothes to school." "How does that sound?" "Great. If I ever catch you in a dress again, you will be wearing them until you are old enough to move out. Do you understand?" "Yes." She gave him a butch haircut and he was as happy as he had ever been. His mother said she was going to leave the dresses in his closet to remind him of what could happen to him if he so much as even tried on a dress. The next day he was super happy to be wearing a new shirt and pants to school. He stayed away from the dresses for a long time. One Saturday his mother asked him if he wanted to go along as she and his father were going shopping. He said he didn't care to go, and while they were gone he put on one of the dresses. It was tight on him, so he soon had it off again. He looked in the attic at other boxes, finally coming on one with larger dresses in it. He took the box into his bedroom and tried one on. It was a little big on him, but he thought it felt wonderful. It was a red velvet one, and after wearing it for a half hour he took it off and put it on a hanger in the middle of the dresses hanging there. He hoped his mother wouldn't notice it, and he put the box of dresses in the corner of his closet. He had looked at all of them and they all looked like party dresses. He was glad he had everything put away when his parents came home. Off and on when his parents were away he would put on a dress and twirl in it. He figured his mother didn't suspect a thing. Then one day his mother asked him if he was sneaking wearing a dress sometimes. He asked why she was asking that, and she said she noticed what looked like a different dress in his closet. She didn't push it and he thought he'd gotten away with it. 2 years later he found a box with dresses the girls must have worn in high school. He was a junior in high school, and many times his parents were gone for extended periods, leaving him alone. He figured his mother hadn't noticed the different dresses in his closet. He let his hair grow long as what was the style then. One day his mother told him Rebecca had called and invited him to a party. She told him she told Rebecca he would be there. The party was 3 days away, on a Saturday. Friday, when he got home from school, his mother told him he had to do something with his hair for Rebecca's party. She shampooed it and had him sit on a dining room chair. Then she started to roll it in different sized curlers. He asked her what she was doing. "I am going to give you a permanent. That will give your hair the right look for the party." "Why do you need rollers in it?" "To give your hair the waves and curls it needs, that's why." "Rebecca said she expected you in a dress, and I know you have been wearing a dress whenever we are gone. I see the different dresses in your closet, and I looked and saw you have the perfect party dress in there. I also got you some makeup to make you really look pretty. Tonight and for how long in the future you can be Janelle again." "What if I say I don't want to go?" "You are going, so get that idea out of your head." "How long are these curls going to last?" "A month to a month and a half, but I'll let you decide if you want to get a haircut or keep the curls. It wouldn't bother me to have Janelle around for a while. All the barbershops are closed after the party, and on Sunday too." "What can I do?" "I can give you one if you act like a nice girl. All I know how to give is a butch cut though." "What do you want to do?" "I don't want to go to school with waves and curls looking like a girl. You have a bunch of pretty dresses you can wear to school. You better keep me happy or I won't give you a haircut and you will be wearing a dress to school." He knew he was being blackmailed, so he made a decision to go along with whatever she said. While the perm said, his mother went to his room and returned with a pale blue polyester dress with red, light pink and light violet roses imprinted on it. It had a V-neck with a polyester rose at the bottom of the V. She got a pair of her red heels for him to try on. They were a good fit. She told him her bras and slips would fit him. He had never thought about her clothes to wear. If he had, this could have been avoided, because then he wouldn't have tried to hide those dresses in his closet. She brought out one of her house dresses to wear along with a bra and slip, and made him a pair of foam breast forms to fill his bra. She helped him get dressed in the clothes, then had him wear a pair of her white pumps with a 3-inch heel so he could practice walking in heels. She had him walk around the house to get used to the heels, giving him tips on how to walk in them. The next day his mother had him start to get ready at noon for the 1:30 party. He was all dressed and then she helped him with his makeup. She did an excellent job that made him look like a typical teenage girl ready to party. She then handed him a present she had picked up for Rebecca. He walked next door, and when he arrived Rebecca gave him a kiss on his lips. His heart raced and he felt giddy. "Janelle, it is so nice to see you again. It has been too long, way too long. You look marvelous. You should keep that look. I have missed you so much." He couldn't believe what he was hearing. She took him to where the party was being held and he just about fainted when he saw Sue Schultz there. He had a crush on her, and was thankful when Rebecca introduced him as Janelle, an old friend. The party was enjoyable and Petra told him that he should come over so they could relive old times. Then she said she had a dress she knew he would just love. He told her that was okay, that he would pass on it. Rebecca was wearing a dress that she had worn for her junior prom. It was a light lavender strapless one with a full skirt. He told her she looked divine in it and she thanked him. When it was time for the cake and ice cream, Rebecca sat next to him. She took his hand and held it. He didn't try to break the grip. The other 4 girls left and he was the only one left. Rebecca told him she wanted to talk to him, so he stayed. "You know what, I really missed Janelle. You were so much fun to play with when we were younger and now you look so great and so beautiful. I love how you did your makeup." He told her his mother did it and she continued, "How come you never asked me to go out with you? You are older than I am and I thought you would just turn me down. I am only 10 months older and I would have gone out with you. I'll tell you what, tomorrow we will go shopping and I'll buy you a soda and ice cream. How does that sound? It didn't take him any time at all to agree with her. She was a beautiful girl and he had never had a girlfriend before. He thought he was very lucky to be getting her attention. Can you do that for me? Will you go as my girlfriend? It would mean so much to me, she was asking. Not knowing why or what exactly, he agreed. She told him that when they got back from shopping she would have him try on her dress. He didn't know about that. She took him in her arms and gave him a hard kiss on his lips. Back at home his mother asked him all about the party. He told her all about it, and when he said about going shopping tomorrow with Rebecca as Janelle, her eyebrows raised. Their date was set for 11 and at 10 he was dressed in a denim skirt and white blouse. He used some of his mother's lipstick which had been in the bathroom. His mother told him the only white shoes he could wear were her 3-inch heels. She couldn't believe how excited he was to be going shopping with a neighbor girl. She wondered if there wasn't more to it than met the eye. At 11 he walked over to Rebecca's. As they were going toward town, she was driving and he asked her why she was so interested in him, because he knew she had gone out with a lot of guys. You are right, I have dated a lot of guys. But none of them were as much fun as you were when we played together. Yesterday I knew you didn't feel it was punishment to put a dress on. You were doing it for me. I saw you had your hair done and were wearing a very pretty dress and heels. You did all of that for me. And today you are going as my girlfriend as a favor to me. You are really something else. I have never dated anyone. Most girls scare me. I know you and I do like you even though you took things further than I would have liked to have gone. I can't believe you are interested in me. You are so pretty and you can have your choice of who you go out with, and you are telling me you are interested in going out with me. You could be the one I marry, who knows what will develop. You and I, married? Yes, and if I marry you I will have you in a dress all of the time. He laughed at the thought. She can't be serious, can she? They arrived at the mall and he was surprised that no one saw him as a male in a dress. He and Rebecca shopped at some of the dress shops and occasionally she would hold out a dress and tell him that it would look good on him. They had gone down one whole side of the mall and arrived at the food court. True to her word, she bought him a soda and ice cream. He wanted to pay for both, but she would have no part of it. They sat at one of the little tables and were having a great time chatting about different people they knew and how they felt about all sorts of things. He was impressed with her when she told him she had already been promoted twice since she started working at the mortgage company. She asked him what he was going to do when he graduated from high school. He told her he wasn't sure, but he would like to go into something like striping autos or decorative painting on vehicles. He said he was a very good artist and liked to paint. She asked him if he wanted to paint something on her car, and he agreed. He told her it would take 2 or 3 days for him to paint something nice, and asked her what she liked. She said, whatever he felt like painting, she was sure she would love it. As they were doing the other side of the mall, she convinced him to get his ears pierced. He reluctantly agreed, knowing it was a thing boys did now. He thought it would be more painful than it was. They walked hand in hand, stopping at a few stores. They finished at the mall and he asked her to stop at an auto supply store that was in the corner of the parking lot. They went in and he picked up, she guessed, 20 little bottles of paint in many different colors. When she asked why he needed all that paint, he told her he thought he knew what he was going to paint on her car. They got back to her house and she invited him in. Just as they got inside, she gave him a kiss on his lips. He was in heaven. Now we get to do what I told you yesterday. Are you ready for it? He couldn't remember what she had said they were going to do. She led him into her bedroom and he saw the dress lying on the bed and remembered what she had said. He told her it wasn't necessary, but she insisted. 10 minutes later he was in their living room wearing the dress. She wanted a picture of him in it and against his better judgment he agreed to it. She ended up taking 3 pictures, telling him he could smile better each time. He got into his own dress and said he had to get home so his mother could give him a haircut. Rebecca said it was a shame to cut off such a beautiful hairdo. He asked her if she wanted to go to see a movie next Saturday night and she agreed. They agreed he could get her car on Friday night after school and start painting a design on it. She kissed him goodbye. His mother could tell by the look on his face that he had had a good time. She laughed when he told her about getting his ears pierced. He told her he was going to paint a design on Rebecca's car starting Friday night and it would be finished by Sunday. He asked her if she could leave her car out so he could use the garage. She told him it would be all right. When he asked her when she was going to cut his hair, she teased him and said maybe in a couple of days. She laughed when she saw the look on his face. She told him to get a dish towel and she would do it right now. He didn't waste any time getting the towel. On Friday night he started painting her car, using a base drawing on a piece of paper to get started. He was enjoying it so much that he worked an hour past his usual bedtime. Saturday morning he was up earlier than his usual 9 o'clock time for Saturday, and after a quick breakfast he was back painting on the car. He worked through lunch and when his mother called him for supper he didn't want to quit, but she reminded him he had a date to keep. They went to a movie and both of them enjoyed it. They went to a malt shop afterwards and she asked him what design he was painting on her car. He told her she would see it when he was finished with it. She kept after him and he finally told her he was painting a devil on it, then laughed and told her she would just have to wait to see it. When they got to her house they sat in the car and kissed for a half hour. She invited him in and told him she had a beautiful nightgown he could wear if he wanted to. He declined, telling her he had to get his sleep. He drove the 50 feet to their driveway and parked in the driveway. Then he hit the garage door opener and went in to look at his painting. He thought it was beautiful, and knew he would be done about noon tomorrow. In the house his mother wanted to know all about how his date had gone. She knew it was the first time he had gone out with a girl. He told her it was exhilarating and yet superb. She laughed when he told her he told Rebecca he was painting a devil on the side of her car. She asked him what he was painting really, and he told her. If she could wait until it was done, he said, he would let her be the first to see it. She agreed and knew it was going to be something special by the way he talked about it. The next morning he skipped breakfast to work on her car. By 10:30 he thought he was done. He got his mother and when she saw it she was amazed at his talent. She told him it was beautiful. Then he got an idea and told her he had to do something else real quick. She saw him grab a brush and some paint and she stood in awe as she watched him letter 2 words in a perfect arc at the top of the design. She went inside as he went to do the other side. It was done, and he thought it was just perfect. He went inside to have a bottle of soda before taking it over to Rebecca's. He had to settle down first anyway. He was shocked when his mother gave him a hard hug saying, "I never knew you had such talent. That car is beautiful. Can you paint something on my car? What would you like? I am sure we can come up with something. How did you get that angel to look like Rebecca? I can close my eyes and see her." He took the car and parked it in front of Rebecca's house. Then he went and rang the doorbell. Rebecca's mother answered the door and he asked if Rebecca was ready to see her car. Her mother said she was sure she was. He asked her if she had something to blindfold Rebecca with. Her mother said she would bring a blindfolded Rebecca out right away. Her mother led a blindfolded Rebecca out, followed by her father and Petra. Rebecca heard the three of them gasp and wondered what they had seen. The blindfold was removed and she looked at her car. On the side was a flying angel in the clouds, and over it was written Angel Express. Petra noticed at first that the angel looked just like Rebecca, then her mother couldn't believe it, but it was Rebecca. He told them to go look on the other side, that it was just like this side. Rebecca had tears in her eyes as she kissed him. She told him it was beautiful and she couldn't believe he had done that. She asked him how much she owed him and he told her it was a gift from him to her. She told him she was taking him to a dance next Saturday night. Her mother had tears in her eyes seeing all of this transpire. Rebecca's dad asked if he could paint a deer hunting scene on his truck. He told him it would be no problem, but don't expect to see the deer look like him. Her dad invited him in, and when they were in he handed him a beer, telling him anyone with that kind of talent at least deserved a beer. Then her dad got real serious, asking him how he felt about her. He told him he really liked her and wanted to see her happy. Her dad said she had a stubborn streak and sometimes had to get her way or else. Jason told him he knew she was like that when she was young. They both laughed. Her dad asked when he could paint his truck and Jason told him next weekend if that was all right. Jason asked him if he wanted a serious one or a humorous one. Her dad asked if he could do one of each. Jason said that would be no problem. The following weekend he had the truck in the garage, and Friday night he did the outlines of both images. He liked how they were turning out. On Saturday he thought about his date that night with Rebecca and the fact that they were going to a dance and he wasn't a dancer. He had told her that he wasn't a dancer and she told him not to worry about it. Late in the afternoon his mother brought a man out into the garage to talk to him. The man introduced himself and said he had seen Rebecca's car, and she had told him that he had painted the design on it. He said he had a 3-bay garage in town and had a mechanic working for him, so he had a bay available and was thinking that he could get more use out of it. He wanted Jason to come work for him painting designs on cars. He told Jason he would pay him $100 per vehicle. He walked around the truck and when he saw the image on the other side he laughed. He asked Jason what he thought about coming to work for him. Jason said he must think he wasn't much of an artist if all he was going to pay was $100 a vehicle. He told him some designs would not be worth $100 and some would be worth much, much more. Then the man offered that they would split the cost of the design 75-25, with Jason getting the 75. Jason said he thought he could do better than that. The man came up to 80-20. Jason said then the man would have to pay for the paint. The man agreed and Jason said he would let him know. The man gave him a card with his business phone, his home phone, and his cell phone number on it. He told Jason he had a lot of talent and was looking forward to hearing from him. At supper Jason told his mother and father about the man's deal. He told them he hadn't said yes yet. His dad said that with his talent for decorating cars he should take it. Jason said he really enjoyed doing it but that all he had done so far was one boy at school who wanted fire on the front of his car, and Rebecca's car, and now her father's truck. His mother said, "Well, from what I saw on Rebecca's car you have a lot of talent. Her car is beautiful. I can't believe you wouldn't want to continue painting. I've seen some designed cars on the internet and I don't know if I could ever do something like some of them look. Call it mother's instinct, but I think when you did Rebecca's car 2 things entered in. 1, you were doing something you love to do, and 2, you were doing it for someone you love. Am I right?" "You are right about the first part, but I am not sure about the second part. I know I like her a lot, but I don't know if it is love or not. Sometimes she scares me and other times I feel like I am in heaven." His father said, "That's love all right. I feel the same way with your mother. Sometimes she makes me wonder what is going on, and other times she makes me feel like I just killed a beast." He laughed and everyone laughed. After supper he went out to work some more. He was ready for the finishing touches. He looked at both sides, then added lettering. When he looked at it, he was satisfied that it looked like he wanted it to look. He had to hurry to get ready to go with Rebecca to the dance. He was ready when she arrived to drive him to the dance. On the way to the dance, he again told her he didn't know how to dance. She assured him he would do all right. At the dance, she showed him how to do a box waltz, and he enjoyed holding her close. They danced every slow dance that was played. On the way home, she convinced him to give her a sneak peek at her dad's truck. When she saw it, she told him her dad would love it. She praised his ability and told him she never thought he had that kind of talent. She reinforced what his parents had said about doing that for a living. They shared one long last hug and kiss before she went home. The middle of the morning, he took the truck back. When Rebecca's father saw it, he loved it. On the driver's side was a hunter dressed in orange shooting at a buck jumping over a fallen log and the words "good shot." On the other side was a hunter standing looking through binoculars with a 10-point buck standing directly behind him with the words "Where are all those deer they said were here?" Her dad loved it. He laughed until he had tears in his eyes when he saw the passenger side design. When he got over his initial enthusiasm, he told Jason he wanted to pay him for it. Jason said he couldn't take any money for it because for now it was just a hobby for him. Her dad would not hear of it. He told him a man at work had had one side of his van done and he knew how much he had paid, and his wasn't nearly as nice as this was. He handed Jason a wad of bills telling him he knew it wasn't as much as the job was worth, but he wanted at least to show him that he appreciated what Jason had done. Jason walked back home, and when he got there he counted the money. Rebecca's dad had given him $300. He thought that was too much, and went back to talk to him and make him take some of it back. Her dad was insistent that it wasn't even enough to pay for half of what he got, and if he'd paid more somewhere else the job wouldn't have been as good. Her dad stressed his talent and said he loved how his truck now looked. Jason told him about the job offer and that he was seriously considering taking it. Her dad said he would be a fool not to take it. Then her dad shocked the daylights out of him when he said he knew his daughter and he knew she was totally in love with him. He told him if he ever decided to marry her that he would have his blessing. Jason had never thought about marriage. He told her dad that, and added that he still had 2 weeks until graduation. In the end, he managed to give her dad back $100. Her dad said he shouldn't do that, but he would take it with the understanding that if Jason ever needed the 100, all he had to do was ask. Jason and Rebecca continued to go out together. They had some wonderful times together. The end of his high school career came rapidly to a close. He visited Stan's auto repair and looked at the empty bay, and told Stan he needed a drawing board set up and some place to store his paints, brushes, and other supplies. Stan showed him a catalog and he picked out what he wanted. They agreed he would start the Monday after graduation. A month later he had over $3,000 in the bank and was busy every day doing either striping or designs on vehicles. Every one he did made the owner completely happy. Stan told him he was doing a great job and that he wished he had Jason's talent. He and Rebecca were still going out and he knew he was in love with her. The closer they got, the more he wondered why he had been so afraid to ask her out in the first place. After 2 months he had almost $7,000 in the bank. He decided to find a house of his own. 2 days later he found exactly what he was looking for. The realtor got him pre-approved for a mortgage loan, and 3 weeks later he was the owner of his very own home. The evening of the closure he took Rebecca for a drive, stopped in front of the house, and had her come in for the tour. It was a 3-bedroom ranch and beautifully decorated. "I love it," You are very lucky to get a house this nice. I have a very important question to ask you. What is that? How would you like to help me fill the other 2 bedrooms? Is this a marriage proposal? He took a small box out of his pocket and handed it to her. She opened it and got tears in her eyes. She silently and slowly slipped the ring on her finger. She gave him a kiss and then said he had to be with her when she showed her parents. He told her that her dad had already given his blessing. She was surprised that he had not said something about it. When her parents saw the ring, her mother gave him a hug and kiss on his cheek. Her father welcomed him into the family and told him he was glad to be getting him for a son-in-law. A week later, the wedding was set for 7 months down the road. Jason was kept very busy painting designs and pinstriping cars. It was fast becoming the in thing to do in the community. He even had a van from 50 miles away that wanted a hunting scene somewhat like his future father-in-law's truck. Then business really picked up steam when the local television station did a spot report showing some of his work. Stan couldn't believe it when he saw they had a month backlog for vehicles to get painted. Jason often worked into the evening to finish a vehicle. Often Rebecca would visit him when he was working in the evening. He enjoyed her company and she marveled at his talent. A month before the wedding, she handed him a bag with a present in it. He took the contents out and saw it was a pair of white silk panties with blue silk bows sewn on them. It had lace trim around the waist and leg openings. Rebecca told him he was to wear it on their wedding day or the wedding was off. She told him she would have someone check before the wedding to make sure he had them on. He agreed to wear them and she was all smiles. The day of the wedding came, and as he was waiting for things to begin, Rebecca's mother came in and said she'd been asked to check if he was wearing something special. She said she didn't know what it was. He guided her toward a corner and then lowered his pants just enough for her to see the panties and blue bows. Her mother said Rebecca was wicked, making him wear those panties. The wedding went off without a hitch. Jason had never seen her looking as pretty as that day. The wedding night, they stayed in the bridal suite at a local motel. They consummated their wedding and enjoyed each other's bodies for the first time. The next morning, when he came out of the bathroom, she said she had his clothes all laid out. He looked on the bed and saw a dress and other kinds of women's clothing. He asked where his clothes were, and she said those were his clothes. I can't wear those. We have the gift opening this afternoon. I told you if I married you that you would be wearing dresses. I am going to tell you something. I will agree to give you 1 day a month for you to have me wear a dress. I will not wear a dress to work or to any family gathering. You can pick a day for me to wear a dress, but within reason. When and if we have children, I will not wear a dress in front of them. I may choose to wear a dress from time to time, and that will not count as your day for me to wear a dress. If you can't live by those guidelines, then I guess we are through. Rebecca stood looking shocked, and he was afraid she was going to walk out. After what seemed like an eternity, she told him she would agree to what he said. He asked her if she wanted to use her day today, as he would only be wearing them until a little afternoon. She said she didn't, but that was the only clothes there for him unless he wanted to wear his wedding suit. He looked at it and saw it was all wrinkles. He didn't want to wear it again. Then he said he would wear the dress until they got home, then he was going to change. She was all smiles as he deftly dressed himself. She thought he looked great in that dress. They put everything in the car and he had her check them out of the motel. At home, he changed into his men's clothes and they got ready to go to the gift opening at Rebecca's parents' house. The two of them enjoyed a wonderful honeymoon in the Virgin Islands. Every day they did something different and both returned with a deep tan. 1 day a month he was her best girlfriend and they would go shopping or on a picnic or somewhere she wanted to go to. Once in a while he would wear a dress on his own to lift her spirits or simply to be playful. On their first wedding anniversary she had a doctor's appointment, as she hadn't been feeling real good lately. She found out she was pregnant. 9 months later she gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl.